The alarms started screaming before I even swallowed. Red glyphs exploded across my visor. The diplomatic pavilion went silent in that particular way crowds do when they're about to stampede. The translation feed in my ear collapsed into one repeating phrase: Royal ascension detected. Royal ascension detected. I was still kneeling at the riverbank with my gloves off. I just needed water, I said, which felt like a reasonable sentence at the time. Across the violet current, the assembled alien court began to prostrate themselves. All 400 of them dropped simultaneously, crystalline foreheads pressing into black sand. The planetary sky dimmed. Not metaphorically. The sky physically dimmed. Behind me, Commander Ionescu hissed over the comm. What did you do? I hydrated, I said. The river shimmered like liquid glass. It was narrow, maybe 10 meters across, but it ran perfectly straight toward the horizon as if drawn by an obsessive architect. We had been explicitly instructed not to approach it. I remembered that part. What I failed to remember was the footnote explaining why. Only royalty may endure the sovereign current. That was the phrase. I thought endure meant ceremonial fasting, or something symbolic. I cupped the water. It felt cool, metallic, slightly effervescent. I drank. Nothing happened. I stood up. See, I said, turning to the alien delegation. Completely fine. That's when the planetary defense grid powered up. The clouds parted in a hexagonal pattern. Orbital constructs shifted into visible alignment like a halo made of artillery. The river began to glow brighter, and a low harmonic tone rolled through the ground, vibrating up my legs. My suit's bioscan started listing things I didn't recognize. Foreign lattice integration detected. Genomic reclassification pending. Status: sovereign compatible. Oh no, I said. The tallest alien, Ambassador Threx of the Continuum, rose slowly from the sand. His body was a vertical stack of translucent rings, each ring rotating independently, refracting the river light into fractal patterns. His voice reached me through the translator as layered chords. You have claimed succession. I absolutely have not, I said. You have survived the sovereign current. I drank it. Yes, that's not succession. That's thirst. Behind him, the rest of the court began emitting a synchronized hum. The tone matched the vibration under my boots. The river responded by lifting slightly, as if gravity had reconsidered its priorities. Commander Ionescu broke protocol and ran down the embankment toward me. Step away from the water. I'm not touching it. It's touching you. I looked down. Thin threads of luminous liquid were spiraling up around my ankles, weaving into a faint geometric pattern against my skin. My suit interface tried to compensate, then gave up and displayed a crown icon. I think their water likes me, I said. That water does not like anyone, Ionescu said. That's the problem. Threx extended a ringed limb toward me. Your physiology has not dissolved, I would have noticed. The river annihilates non-royal matter. Define annihilates. Unmakes. I stared at the glowing threads around my legs. I feel made. The planetary AI, previously quiet, inserted itself into our channel. Its voice was mathematically neutral. Continuum hierarchy disrupted. Unauthorized sovereign entity detected. Initiating coronation safeguards. Stop, I said to the sky. Do not initiate anything. The orbiting constructs rotated faster. Ionescu grabbed my shoulder. Why didn't you wait for clearance? I thought the rule was ceremonial. Like not stepping on a carpet. Threx's rings flared bright blue. The sovereign current encodes authority. It accepts only those of royal lattice. You endure. Therefore, you are royal lattice. I am a logistics officer from Earth. You are now a logistics monarch. That's not a thing. It is. The hum intensified. The ground cracked in a perfect circle around the riverbank, isolating me in a disk of black sand. The water rose into a column and began orbiting me, forming a transparent helix. My bioscan updated again. Sovereign neural handshake available. Accept. Ye, N. I am not accepting anything, I muttered. Too late. The helix touched my forehead. Information detonated behind my eyes. Maps. Not just of this planet, of its weather systems, tectonic stress points, agricultural yields, defense nodes, hive clusters, diplomatic debts stretching back millennia. It was like being handed the admin password to a world. I staggered. Ionescu tried to pull me back, but the sand had hardened into something like obsidian. Disconnect, she shouted. I don't see a disconnect button. Threx lowered himself into a formal bow. Your first decree, Sovereign. I decree that I am not sovereign. The planetary AI paused. Decree logged. Paradox detected. Reconciling. The orbiting constructs flickered. Threx's rings shifted to a worried violet. You reject your lattice? I reject your assumption. Assumption validated by river. Your river is overconfident. The hum fractured into discord. Several members of the court began vibrating at unsafe frequencies. My suit flagged structural instability in nearby architecture. The AI spoke again. If sovereign rejects sovereignty, succession protocol escalates to trial of endurance. What's the trial of endurance? I asked. Threx's voice dropped an octave. You must withstand the river in full. Define full. The helix thickened. The column of water above me widened, pulling more of the river upward until the channel ran dry on both sides. The entire sovereign current now hovered in the air, suspended and spinning. Ionescu's voice cracked. We need extraction now. Earth Command finally broke their diplomatic silence. Continuum authorities, stand down. This is a misunderstanding. Threx did not look at them. It is a validation. The suspended river collapsed, not downward into me. It felt like being submerged in cold light. My lungs forgot how to function. My vision filled with shifting sigils. I could hear the planetary AI reciting lineage records directly into my skull. Unauthorized entity exhibits complete structural tolerance. Royal lattice confirmed. The water receded just as suddenly, snapping back into its channel with a sound like glass knitting itself together. I was still standing. My suit was gone from the waist down, dissolved cleanly. The geometric pattern on my skin glowed faintly, then stabilized into something that looked disturbingly symmetrical. The court erupted, not in panic, but in jubilation. The synchronized hum turned into a layered anthem. Threx raised all his rings. Behold the enduring sovereign. I am not enduring anything, I gasped. I'm just resistant. Resistance is sovereignty. Earth Command whispered in my ear, we need you to play along. Play along with what? Becoming planetary royalty. Temporarily, the AI announced. Coronation complete. Transferring executive access. Across the horizon, towers lit up. Agricultural drones shifted patterns. Defense satellites rotated into a protective shell around the pavilion. Ionescu stared at me. Do you feel different? I focused. I could sense the river. Not physically, structurally. like it was a limb. I flexed my hand experimentally. The river bent, just a little, a slight curve in its perfectly straight course. 400 crystalline beings gasped in unison. I did not mean to do that, I said. Threx's rings glowed gold. Your will reshapes the current. I was stretching. Then your stretch is law. The planetary AI chimed, awaiting second decree. I panicked. Fine. Second decree. Nobody annihilates anyone without a meeting. The AI processed. Annihilation now requires meeting. Several orbital constructs powered down. Threx bowed deeper. A merciful sovereign, I am a dehydrated officer who made a mistake. Your mistake has restructured our civilization. That was when the hive mind representatives arrived. They emerged from the sand beyond the pavilion, six-legged, mirrored carapaces reflecting my glowing skin. They spoke as a chorus. Royal succession detected. We contest. Oh no, I said. Threx stiffened. The hive cannot contest the river. We contest the interpretation, the hive replied. The human engaged in ritual ingestion. I did not engage in ritual ingestion, I snapped. I drank. Ingestion in proximity to the current is ritual. It was hot. The hive's mirrored bodies angled toward me. If human is sovereign, hive demands integration. Integration of what? Your lattice with ours. That sounds invasive. It is. The planetary AI interrupted. Integration of sovereign with hive will merge governance structures. Probability of systemic collapse, 42%. 42 is high, I said. 42 is acceptable, the hive said. It is not acceptable, Threx said sharply. The sovereign's lattice is singular. I am not singular, I said. I'm very average. The river pulsed in disagreement. The hive began advancing. The sand liquefied under their steps, forming conduits toward me. I felt the river react defensively, rising in protective arcs. Stop, I said instinctively. The river froze mid-arc. The hive froze too, locked in place as the water hardened around their limbs like transparent restraints. Silence. The court stared at me in reverent horror. Ionescu whispered, You just immobilized a planetary faction. I told them to stop. Threx lowered his rings in awe. Your command extends beyond the current, the AI confirmed. Sovereign authority validated across substrates. I looked at the trapped hive and then at the river, which still hovered obediently in sculpted arcs. Release them, I said carefully. The water softened. The hive stepped back, recalculating. Human sovereign demonstrates restraint, the hive chorus said. Integration postponed. Good, I said. Postpone it indefinitely. The sky brightened slightly. The defense grid relaxed into standby. The anthem faded into a low, respectful hum. Threx approached me slowly. You have survived the current, reshaped it, halted annihilation, restrained the hive, and amended protocol. By every measure, you are sovereign. I was thirsty. History rarely honors hydration so profoundly. Earth Command cleared their throat digitally. Continuum authorities, we propose a joint council to reinterpret royal eligibility criteria. Threx considered. His rings shifted from gold to contemplative green. If the river accepts non-continuum physiology, our definition of royalty is flawed. Correct, I said quickly. Very flawed. Possibly obsolete. The river rippled, almost amused. The planetary AI spoke one final time for the day. Royal definition update in progress. Eligibility expanded. Trial of endurance suspended pending review. A collective murmur spread through the court. I looked down at the glowing lattice on my skin. It had dimmed to a faint shimmer, like something deciding whether to stay. So, I said to Threx, what happens now? He tilted his rotating rings toward the horizon where the river cut its impossible straight line. Now, Sovereign, we determine whether your endurance was an anomaly or an evolution. I stared at the water. It pulsed once in response. For a second, just a second, I felt it tug, gently, as if inviting me back in. I stepped away from the bank,